Is now a good time to sell your home in London, Ontario? Hey, it's Ryan Hodge, broker owner here at the Realty firm. Sandra, Tavares, and I have been selling real estate inside of London and St. Thomas for nearly 20 years. We own the Realty firm. We have over 100 agents in 5 different markets, but London and St. Thomas has always been Sandra and my area of expertise. And a lot of people are asking, hey, we're in a buyer's market. Maybe it's a bit more balanced, based on the fact that it's the spring market. But is it a good time to sell your home? And I say, yes, it is. But you want to be very, very discerning on what it is going to take to get your home sold. So I'm going to go back through a few points that you may have seen in other videos. The 3 main P's to getting your home sold, that is the product, the promotion, and the pricing. Product, promotion, and pricing. So the product is your home. And so there are many TV shows online, on TV that, share that you need to do all these things to get your home ready to sell. The Hollywood real estate stories and all these staging and things like that, where you're going to have to break the bank to get your home sold. Number one, you don't normally need to do nearly as much as you think, because a lot of times buyers are going to make changes themselves to make the home feel like their own. Number 2, we provide full staging with our listings. So we make sure that we cover that expense and cost for you on almost every listing, depending on the package that you choose and if the home needs it. Sometimes homes don't need staging. And so the number one thing is to get a proper consultation to review the product. Now, if there are some major things that need to be done before going to market, or if there are any challenges or anything that needs to be fixed or addressed before going to market, certainly a good idea to do that. But before you go out and spend a fortune on doing that, have us over to take a look at the house. We want to share with you, what kind of contribution value you will get back on the investment that you put in before you sell. It's not like putting in a new kitchen that you're going to enjoy for the next 10 years. If you put in a kitchen right now, you're probably not going to get the money out for what you just put in. But we can help with that. The product, as long as it's a great product, as long as it shows well, as long as there's nothing wrong with it, is the number one in terms of looking at, where it is, how it's going to show, and how we address it through our marketing. And so number 2 is, of course, promotion. How do we promote a property properly? We want to make sure that as many eyeballs that are out there on the entire real estate landscape that may be looking for a home like yours, when your home hits the market, they see it. And I believe we're second to none in doing that. Not only because of the media package that we provide with photos and video and drone, and making sure that it goes on to different websites and, all the portals like realtor.ca, our real estate agent websites, things like that, but making sure that we are target marketing. And again, I am the owner of a software company called Selling Tools. Selling Tools helped many, in fact, hundreds, maybe thousands of real estate agents over the years target market their listings and advertise listings to people all over North America. And I'm fortunate to own this company that has experts in Google marketing, in Facebook marketing, in taking your specific listing and positioning it to audiences like many real estate agents just don't have the capacity to do. And I take pride in owning that because it's an advantage for our clients, especially in the age of AI discoverability and making sure that the people that are starting to search for home lines on platforms like ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or some of these other platforms are seeing your property as well. And so the marketing piece is one that we hold very close to us in terms of taking great pride in just the expert level of marketing that we actually put in place for all of our clients. The third, of course, is pricing, and it is by far the most important. And so I'm not going to go into, how to price a home, but what I want to share with you that you may have heard me speak about before as well are different approaches to value. You see, most real estate agents, they will come to your property and they're going to bring 2 things. They're going to come and bring properties that are currently listed, maybe on your street or on your neighborhood, and they're probably going to bring comparable sales. So maybe what is sold on the street in the neighborhood for the last 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. That's all fine, and it's one approach to value. But in a market like this, where we are considered more of a buyer's market, trending towards balance, but still, all things considered, under the 45% threshold of sales to new listings. That is still considered a buyer's market. You've got to get the price right because you know that the buyers are going to be very discerning. And so when you start exploring what is a buyer, being very discerning about, it's about value. So you can have all the marketing in the world. You can have expert marketing staging the platforms that we put your listing on, just like us. You can have the best home in the world, but if it's not priced appropriately, that can present some serious challenges. And so let's look to what does it look like in terms of pricing beyond just listed and just sold. Number one, just listed to me is rather irrelevant. Now, I know it's important to understand your competition, but anybody can put their house up for sale for whatever they want. So I don't pay too much attention to just listed. I look at what house has sold and when, because a home that sold last year at the exact same time can be identical to yours, but it can be drastically different in what it would sell for in this market. The other thing that I look at is approaches to value. Okay, so we use what's called an assessed value multiplier, where we take a look at the assessed value of your property and use proven multipliers to predict a low value that sets the low number in terms of an aggressive price. Okay, most people don't list their homes there, but having that low number kind of gives us a basement number to start basing some of our strategy on. We also look at purchase plus appreciation and depreciation. So what you purchased the home for, and then appreciation percentages in your area per year, depreciation percentages if the market went down in your area per year. And then we look at all of the contribution that you've made to it and use specific percentages for each to come up with a number. Now, this is typically going to set a higher value, where all of a sudden we have that low number and then we have a really high number. In between, you're usually going to look at other approaches like your square footage approach, your comparable sale approach. Sometimes we get an actual appraisal, where our unique value proposition is that we're going to give you 4 or 5 approaches to value to start looking at numbers to come up with what we call 3 different list prices. You have your aggressive list price. So somebody comes to us and says, hey, Ryan and Sandra, we want the home sold today, tomorrow, this week. You're usually looking at more of an aggressive number. Fair market value. Fair market is going to be the number that we put on the property that should give your average list to sale time probably within 30 days, maybe more like the board average, which is a little bit higher, or your test price. Somebody wants to test the market, and that's not a problem. We just want to make sure that we're monitoring it based on the activity that we're getting so that we don't go stale. Because a home that sits for too long, then people start to say, what's wrong with it? Why isn't it selling? You get a little bit of that stigma on the house. Nobody wants that. So when we come up with all of this pricing for you, this is where I ask that you put yourself in the shoes of a buyer. If you were going out and you were looking at your home and you're a buyer that are completely unbiased and you fall in love with the property and you go to a real estate professional like myself who can present 4 or 5 approaches to value to indicate that, let's say, it is in and around the average of $620,000. Why would anybody offer you $700,000 for the property if that's what all of the numbers are saying? See, we've got to put our sellers in the shoes of a buyer as well, giving them all of that deep market research and data to help them make an informed decision. And those that are following the research, those that are listening and observing and really applying the data like they were a buyer of their own property, they're having tremendous success. Our list to sale time is lower than many, in fact, most of the average real estate agent in London and St. Thomas. Our list to sale price remains incredibly strong. We're not getting a lot of these lowballs or nonsense negotiations. We know where to position a property, and the fact that we have been in the business this long with the experience, the branding, and I would say a little bit of the clout inside of the London and St. Thomas Association of Realtors, many people know that we know exactly what we're doing when it comes to pricing a home. and that is also an advantage for our clients. So if people are following the 3 Ps, the product is a good product, the promotion, they're working with agents that actually promote the properties properly, and they're pricing the homes fairly, sometimes aggressively, not getting into that test phase, or if they do, they adjust if needed if they don't get the number that they want. Sellers are having tremendous success in this market. Ask our clients, go to our review sites. You will see that it is still a very good time to sell in this market. Sandra and I provide free market evaluations. And if any time you want us to come over and take you through our approaches to value, the way that we would market your home, giving you tips and strategies that perhaps maybe you don't have to invest a lot of money into the property before going to market, we are happy to. That is exactly what we've been doing for nearly 20 years inside of London and St. Thomas, and we're happy to do the same for you. Reach out to us anytime. www.ryanandsandra.ca. Give us a call, 519-601-1160. We are here to serve and support before, during, and after the transaction. If you enjoy this content, be sure to like and subscribe. Keep enjoying this amazing weather. Keep enjoying this always interesting, ever-changing London and St. Thomas real estate market. And we will look forward to seeing you really soon.